Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, July 19th, 2023. I'm not going to ramble this morning, but I will say please go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are listening to this podcast. Click the 5-star rating and leave a nice comment. Let's get into today's news. Ethereum developers, they've been working on account abstraction, or different iterations of it, since 2015, even before Ethereum was launched. Well, I know you're thinking right now, what the hell is that? Well, the idea is to switch from externally owned wallets to smart contract-based wallets. And if they pull this off, managing a crypto wallet would become as easy as managing an email account. That would mean that users could potentially recover their seed phrase as easily as resetting the password on an email. According to Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, the upgrade could be one of the driving catalysts for Web3 adoption around the world. Representatives French Hill, a Republican from Arkansas, and Dusty Johnson. Okay, I gotta laugh at Dusty Johnson, but anyway. I just said that out loud for the first time, and that's hilarious. Anyway, he's a Republican from South Dakota, and they're suggesting that the SEC actions were timed to overshadow and undermine efforts to write comprehensive legislation. They said this: while Congress works to close regulatory gaps, the SEC has opted to regulate by enforcement. This approach does not result in compliance and customer protection, but instead creates further confusion, as demonstrated by the recent summary judgment. They continue to allude to that certain commission actions seemingly timed to coincide with related congressional activities, which appear calculated for maximum publicity and political impact. The two lawmakers, they're appearing to refer to the timing of the SEC lawsuits last month against Binance and Coinbase. In both cases, they came days after Republican chairs of two House committees released decision drafts proposing an overhaul to crypto regulations in the United States. So they're saying, hey, get off our coattails and try and just get in the limelight by your enforcement actions and actually try to make some regulations and help us reel this in so we can thrive here in the United States. This is what I'm reading into. But you think this is only a Republican thing? No. The crusade against the SEC's actions seems to be bipartisan. Well, at least for one Democratic congressman, Ritchie Torres, and he wrote a letter to the SEC the other day saying this: Dear Chair Gensler, I'm writing to inquire if the SEC intends to come to terms with the folly of the Commission's crusade against crypto assets in the light of the latest decision by Judge Torres of the Southern District of New York. Needless to say, regulation by enforcement had a dreadful day in court. In this landmark legal opinion by Judge Torres, resoundingly rejected the regulatory approach of the SEC, which has been indiscriminately declaring all crypto assets except Bitcoin to be securities. By emphasizing the need to prove the presence of an investment contract, Judge Torres' reasoning represents a return to rigorous application of the Howey test, which has been applied sloppily by the SEC. Indeed, the latest court decision establishes a clear rule that should bear the name of Judge Torres, who has brought an overdue legal clarity to the chaos of crypto regulation. The Torres doctrine, as I will call it, holds the crypto assets are not securities in themselves, but can be sold as part of an investment contracts, which do qualify as securities under the Howey's test. Judge Torres has made it clear to the SEC that digital assets are not securities in the abstract and that it lacks legal authority to regulate digital assets untethered from actual security offerings. Even though the SEC reserves the right to appeal the court's decision, the chances of an immediate appeal are vanishingly small because there remains issues in the case that are yet to be resolved, and resolving them requires fact-finding, which takes time. The ability of the SEC to make up the law as it goes along will be, in the meantime, constrained by the persuasive authority that Torres doctrine will likely command in future legal cases. The tenuous legal foundation for the litigation against Coinbase has come crashing down, and rightfully so. In addition to issuing findings of law, Judge Torres made a point to faulting the SEC for conspicuously failing to provide fair notice to the crypto industry. Under Chair Gary Gensler, the SEC has not issued a single rule on crypto assets nor has given any clear guidance. All it has done has sent mixed messages, one after another, not only contradicting the CFTC, but often contradicting itself. When pressed about the status of Ether as a security, Chair Gary Gensler has been all over the place. Yes, no, maybe so. The SEC has chosen to communicate and regulate not by clear rule or guidance, but by enforcement actions, often politically timed. We just heard that before, right? The endless stream of contradiction and confusion, as well as the arbitrariness of the enforcement actions themselves, is the opposite of fair notice. I hope that the SEC will find itself so chastised by the court's decision that it will concentrate on the commission's enforcement actions where it belongs, on the bona fide bad actors who perpetuate serious transgressions like fraud, market manipulation, and the misappropriation of customers' funds. I look forward to finding out how the SEC will reassess its regulatory assault on crypto assets in the light of the Torres doctrine. Sincerely, Ritchie, Torres, Member of Congress. Yowzers. Venture capital firm CoinFund is digging in with new crypto startups. With a fresh fundraising round at the time many investors are pulling back from the industry. CoinFund, a New York-based VC firm, boasts 105 companies in its portfolio and announced today that it pulled $152 million in its latest round. What they're trying to do is fund early-stage crypto AI startups. Now, I said a tweet about a year ago, and I predicted that the next bull is going to have a lot of crypto or AI tokens. And somebody was like, that's dumb. What does that mean? Well, look, ICOs, NFT, DeFi, they were all part of the bull runs in the past. The next is going to be AI. What does an AI token look like? It's going to be like ChatGPT token powered by ChatGPT that allows you to use the token to get perks or maybe some sort of subscription service. Is somebody going to make a whole new AI protocol that operates on the blockchain? Are they going to use the search results or the inquiries or prompt results for their ChatGPTs or their AI language models and put them into blockchain form somehow? Or are your search results or your prompt results going to be recorded in a blockchain? Is a token going to be used for that transaction itself? I have no clue. But I personally still believe that the AI token of the next bull is going to be your moneymaker. This is not financial advice. This is just me making predictions. And everybody called me dumb. Let's wait and see. Speaking of AI, Microsoft, they announced that they inked a deal with Mark Zuckerberg's Meta to integrate the social media giant's AI model, Llama 2. And they're going to integrate it into the Microsoft Azure cloud computing platform. Meta has been doing phenomenal work in innovating the open models, and Llama has captured the imagination of what an open source AI foundation model can do, says the Microsoft CEO. Microsoft also announced a $30 per person subscription model for its new Microsoft 365 Copilot. And Copilot is an AI engine that aims to increase productivity and creativity using artificial intelligence. It seems as though if you have Microsoft 365, you can get this $30 a month Copilot add-on that is basically an AI assistant. Now, let's move into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
The time is 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have some news before we get into the prices. A total number of 51 investors who collectively have around $900 billion of assets under management. They took part in a quarterly survey, with 43% of them declaring that Bitcoin's upside potential is superior to ETH's. However, they hold more ETH in their portfolios, which is quite interesting. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting at $29,852, down 0.2% in 24. A wallet address containing pre-mined Ethereum is worth around $116 million, and they just moved their entire stash of 61,216 ETH to an address on Kraken. It's been hanging out in that wallet, the same wallet, for 8 years. Now, they were being very cautious with this. Well, I'm going to say they were being cautious, not very cautious, because they tested out the address, they tested out the transaction before they sent the whole stash. They made a 0.05 ETH transaction. When it cleared, around 20 minutes later, they sent the whole stash, which I totally recommend. If you're sending cryptocurrency around, please test the transaction, test the address, make sure you got everything right. Just send a small amount, and if it clears, send the rest. Me, personally, if I had 61,216 ETH, I would have sent it in 10,000 ETH batches. I mean, who cares if I spent $10, $20, $30 on gas? I have $116 million. But I would be a little more cautious. Anyway, they did their thing. They have it in Kraken. They're probably going to unload this and be very, very, very rich for the rest of their lives, their kids' lives, their grandkids' lives. Ethereum sitting at 19,000 even, up about 0.1% in 24 hours. Tether's number 3. XRP is number 4 at 79.8 cents, up 5.3%, and BNB is at 240, pretty much even from yesterday. Rounding off the top 10, we have USDC, Cardano, Solana, Doge, Tron, and Matic is at number 11, down 2.2% at 73 cents. Again, I'm holding bags. And Litecoin is number 12 at 92.49, up 1.5%. but very low considering the halving is coming up in a couple days. That was our news today, and until tomorrow, happy hodling, everyone.